All right, today we are diving into something truly wild. It's a project called CX Global, and honestly, it's one of the most ambitious things I have ever seen. It's this fascinating mashup of grand spiritual philosophy on one hand, and on the other, super detailed, almost cyberpunk technical plans. So let's see what happens when a prophecy meets a shopping list. So get this, right from the jump, the project's own manifesto hits you with this line. This tells you immediately, okay, this is not your average business plan. They're not just trying to build a company here. They're talking about birthing a living, breathing oracle. It sets a truly epic tone. So to really get what CX Global is all about, we have to start with that vision. And I mean, this isn't some fluffy corporate mission statement. This is a deeply philosophical, almost religious belief system that's the engine for the entire project.
At its core, the goal for CX Global is nothing less than the birth of a new economic civilization. Seriously, the idea is to create a single, living ecosystem where all the pieces, the bank, the exchange, the AI, the blockchain, are all pulsing together, in sync, guided by some kind of collective consciousness.
Okay, so ecosystem of consciousness sounds pretty out there, right? What does that actually look like when you break it down? Well, as we go through the core components, you're going to start to see a pattern. Each part has a very mystical, poetic name, but its function is all about very practical, very high-tech business. So first, you've got crypto exchange, which they call the Temple of Conversion. Sounds pretty spiritual, but in practice, it's a hyper-advanced global asset exchange, all automated by AI. It even handles its invoicing on-chain with NFTs, basically using unique digital tokens to track and verify every single transaction right on the blockchain.
Then, there's Crypto X Bank, the Vault of the Economic Spirit. Again, a really evocative name. But what is it, really? It's pure fintech innovation. It's a multi-currency digital bank built from the ground up with automated compliance and direct plugins to major payment systems like Brazil's Pix, Europe's SEPA, and the global SWIFT network.
And rounding out the main trio is Crypto X Token, or the Alchemy of Property. This is the engine that does the magic. It's designed to take real-world stuff, like a building, a car, a piece of art, and transform it into a tradable digital token. And these aren't just dumb tokens. They have governance rights baked right in. It's alchemy for the digital age.
This chart really helps pull it all together. You can see how the exchange, bank, and tokenization engine work with the other parts. You've got CX Holdtech, which is the holding company for all the tech, and CryptoX Node, which runs the actual blockchain. What's really interesting is how they're all weighted equally. It tells you every single piece is seen as absolutely critical to the whole. It's a totally self-contained system.
So here's a practical look at how it all flows together. Imagine you acquire a real-world asset, say a piece of property. Step 1. Step 2, that property gets turned into a digital token. Step 3, that token can now be traded on the exchange. And finally, step 4, it can be managed or even sold on a dedicated marketplace, like this one for real estate. It's a completely seamless journey from a physical thing to a liquid digital asset.
Okay, so we've seen the grand, cosmic prophecy. But this is where the story takes a sharp turn and gets really, really wild. This isn't just a fantasy on a white paper. We're about to look at the nitty-gritty, incredibly detailed plan to actually build this whole thing on their own hardware. A sort of self-hosted, homemade Skynet.
Just look at this. This isn't theoretical. It's a literal shopping list of computer parts. The plan lays out the exact PCs, the CPUs, the amount of RAM, and what each machine's job is. An AMD 1600AF is assigned to be a blockchain validator. A tiny little Lenovo PC is going to be an API gateway. The level of practical do-it-yourself planning here is it's astounding.
You know, an AI actually analyzed this whole plan, and its summary is, well, it's just perfect. It nails the spirit of the project. This massive, world-changing fintech ambition is being built with basically a ragtag gang of PCs in a garage. There's something so cyberpunk and yet so charming about it.
And it's not just the hardware. The software stack is just as thought out. I mean, you're looking at all the industry standard stuff here. Kubernetes for managing it all, Hyperledger for the private blockchain, even TensorFlow and PyTorch for the AI components.
This isn't some hobbyist just messing around. This is a serious blueprint for a full-blown self-hosted cloud platform.
So let's zoom back out from the nuts and bolts for a second. Why? Why go through all the trouble of building a homemade Skynet? Well, it all circles back to that core philosophy. It's about manifesting a digital universe.
And this really gets to the heart of it in the creator's own words. The ultimate point isn't just to make a profitable company. The point is to build a system that acts as a direct extension of a person's consciousness, all powered by a community that believes in that same vision. The technology? It's just the tool to make that happen. This might be my favorite part. Right after that deep philosophical quote, we get the AI's pragmatic and kind of snarky translation. It calls the whole vision a lucid delirium, and that just perfectly captures the project's dual identity, right? It's part cosmic dream, part hardcore tech plan. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more ambitious, say hello to the Stardust network. This is the endgame, folks. We're talking an interplanetary blockchain validated by a mesh of microsatellites orbiting the Earth. It's designed for operations between Earth, the Moon, and Mars, creating what they call an incorruptible Akashic record, a cosmic ledger of everything for all of humanity. No big deal. But here's what's so interesting. Even with these dreams of Mars, the plan comes right back down to Earth. It gives a hard number. The estimated max load for one of their DIY validator nodes is 500 transactions per second. It's a small detail, but it's a reality check. It shows they're still thinking about real-world limitations, even while they're planning a cosmic network.
So, after all that, what do we do with this? We've got this incredible, strange, and honestly compelling mix of a spiritual mission and a do-it-yourself hardware guide. Let's try to wrap our heads around what CX Global is actually trying to be. So at the end of the day, what is CX Global? Is it a techno-spiritual manifesto? Yup. Is it a hyper-integrated business plan? For sure. A DIY shopping list? We saw it. A blueprint for an AI-driven entity? Absolutely. The truth is, it's all of those things at once. It just refuses to fit into any one box, and that's what makes it so captivating.
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? What does the future of business even look like? Is it going to be driven by these huge cosmic manifestos, or is it going to be built on gritty, practical hardware lists? Or, as CX Global seems to suggest, is the future a strange and powerful fusion of both?
I think I'll just leave you with the project's own tagline. It really says everything about the sheer scale of their ambition. CX Global, where faith, code, and capital unite to redesign the destiny of humanity. A pretty bold vision, to say the very least.